Alrighty, guys, into the game right away. Map is going to be Ohana. Very far bottom right corner. It's going to be the pink Zerg. He is strong. He's done very well. He's 2-0'd everyone on the way up in the Korean bracket here. It's going to be MVP's very own Monster.
Quite a run 2-0ing, as you said. Hyun, Noblesse, Avenge, and Maru. Those are some serious names to throw down.
Just a couple of them. In the very far top left corner is your red Zerg player from the team Evil Geniuses, sponsored by Raycall. It's going to be Jaedong himself. Strong ZvZ player, 75% win ratio. It's going to be a scary match for Monster, but I just feel like Jaedong's going to take it 2-0. Every time I've watched him play.
And I can't feel that way. You know, Monster is not only a very strong player, but 2-0ing Hyun, that is quite a feat. And, you know, Jaedong met Lucky in the early stages of the bracket and did defeat him 2-0, but Lucky has been not as lucky as of late. Whereas, and by the way, also Jaedong had quite a struggle against Gumiho. Managed to prevail 2-1 to get his way here to this spot. He definitely doesn't want to go down after such a difficult match, but I feel like Monster just is on fire right now.
We'll see how it goes. ZvZ is one of those matchups where anything can happen. You are correct, Andrew. I want to see if we're going to be having 15 hatcheries from both players.
Pull out of Jaedong.
Looks like we do have a pull and a
Monster's
hatchery
going to go for the hatchery.
Man, he is feeling gutsy. He does feel like he's on fire. This is one of those things, you're in a bracket or you're doing very well in a tournament and just things are going well for you. So you take a little bit of risky situations, go for 15 hatchery weekly, especially on Ohana. There is a potential for some strong aggressive play on it because it's such a short rush distance, but Monster not giving a care at all.
Well, it's a really intelligent play actually out of Monster. You mentioned how Jaedong, this is one of the things I actually really enjoy putting time into thinking about is what's going through players' heads in regards to their opening builds. Jaedong feels comfortable with this matchup. So Monster knows that Jaedong probably isn't going to want to throw all of his eggs into something like an 11 pool. Why do that if you're favored in the match? You're going to open safe. You're going to open like Jaedong did with the 15 pool. It makes perfect sense from Jaedong's perspective. So Monster knows that this is the most likely route for Jaedong to take, so he takes the hatchery.
Well, Monster will have a slight advantage in build orders here. He went 15 hatchery, followed into a gas, and then of course a pull afterwards, so he will have tech and economy on his side. And from the side of Jaedong, he actually went into a hatchery, then fell up the gas afterwards, built his after he got his pull. So his tech will be a little bit on the later side, wants to play defensive for a tad bit, but overall, decent openings from both players. I just feel like Monster has a slight advantage, and we'll see if he tries to utilize that.
He's going to have a slight scouting disadvantage, though. Jaedong's going to get in here, manage to see, he saw the second the queen just started. So notice that although the queen's being produced, Jaedong doesn't care. He's continuing to run in here because he saw that it had just begun. It's a long way away. And this is going to allow him to get a peek at this gas and see, all right, you've mined 40. That's going to give me enough information to know that I'm going to be 10, 15 seconds ahead of you on my speed timing, as long as he remembers to start it up right when he gets 100 gas.
Well, queens have popped out for both players, and ZvZ action on the way. Two Lings do make their way across the middle of the field here for Jaedong. Let's watch that micro. Doing a good job of actually microing there. Didn't even chase that one drone away. Does pick off one, but hey, half a Ling is definitely worth a drone at any point.
Absolutely. I'd trade both those Lings for a drone. So Jaedong, not only does he get information, but he gets another kill. Very, very nice for Jaedong there.
Curious to see what Jaedong's going to follow up into in the mid game. He's been going mutas a lot in his matchups. It's just a Brood War thing. You just enjoy mutas. That was his play back in the day. And so now he's finding out that mutas aren't so good in Starcraft 2 as they were in Brood War, but still he makes them work.
Jaedong, though, I felt stupid as I said it. And suddenly I shouldn't berate myself so harshly. He did forget to start his speed by quite a substantial amount. It could have, been that he neglected it so that he could get out a couple more drones, but he doesn't have a drone advantage right now. So this looks like simple oversight by Jaedong, whose speed is still 40 seconds away right now, although Monsters is complete and he is making some Lings and sending them across the field.
The aggression is on the way. Bailing Nest does finish up, though, for Jaedong. He has the opportunity to make Bailings, and there they are. Two have been created. Queens are coming down to the ramp as well to block it. Let's see if he can hold the pressure here from Monster.
All right, well, there is a spine crawler in place, which is super nice for Jaedong, but some drones are likely going to go down. Baneling's exploding. Oh, they're going to get into the drone line, but no real damage dealt to the drones, and that's going to allow most of the drones to escape. Scathed, quite scathed, actually, but not killed.
I call it the teeter-totter move. Is where you pop in like you're gonna follow up into maybe getting hit, and then you move at the last second, just popping back and forth. And Jaedong's really good at that. We've seen him do it a few times in Pro League towards a lot of bailing all-ins, and it really baits your opponent to slam that X button and burst those bailings right away. And unfortunately, that didn't work out for Monster, but feeling great for Jaedong here as he didn't take too much damage. It looks like Monster's actually falling into a switch Roach Warren. Does he have 1, 2 guesses here?
Yeah, 2 gases, second one just finishing up right now. Jaedong is about to send down some Lings, though, to try to get some information. Banelings are on the ramp. Monster does not want to let these Lings inside. And a beautiful explosion. Wow, the range on that Baneling. It was only a couple droplets, actually, that touched that Zergling. But, well, the further a Baneling droplet travels, it actually becomes more deadly.
Oh, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Lings moving across the
Well, it
middle
has
of the
to
map
happen
against
because
Vanessa.
you get
the
sprayed
absolute
by
exploder.
less. Yeah.
So Ling's now running up to the natural. There are some bangs here for Jaedong, but yep, 10 roaches are now on the way. Monster was pulling a ton of gas. He wants to end this early if possible. His aggression looks very strong. Another spine collar on the way for Jaedong. He does have the queens there for defense, and he's actually falling into a spire here. So going to that Muta play that he'll love to do.
He is going to be going for those Mutalisks. Very Brood War style-esque out of Jaedong here. And Mutas are pretty good on this map. It's not a strategy that is really something you can't go for, but
Oh my gosh.
it's not going to be, you know, the type of situation we may see on Daybreak where Mutas are just like completely and by far the best route that you're going to have an opportunity to go for, but we need to hold that thought because
Jaedong sees the aggression.
Yeah.
Spine cards have been popped up. 20 Lings were followed up behind these roaches as well. Banelings are being created, and I like how he spread out all these spine cards. Makes it easier for the Banelings not to kill them all off. That's your defense. It's really important that A, they're taking a lot of damage and also outputting damage. Lings on the way for Jaedong, and here we go.
I am so surprised that Monster's stopping with these roaches right now. The Banelings
Oh god.
are going to get so much damage dealt into those roaches, and that's it. Monster's aggression is quite halted. He does have some Zerglings here.
Gotta be careful when your roaches are coming in the natural not to group them up, especially when you see a ton of spine cards, because that means there's a lot of gas left over, and that means there's gonna be a lot of Banelings for defense. And unfortunately, Monster just made a huge mistake there. Jaedong capitalized perfectly by hitting that huge group of roaches, and now more Lings are coming in, but Jaedong has this held. He'll be falling up into the Spire Tech right away as soon as possible. Again, he doesn't have that much gas because he made a lot of Banelings, but he is going to get a few out, and that's going to be able to clear out Overlords.
A beautiful spread there from Jaedong, as you were saying about those spine crawlers there, Robin. And now Jaedong is in a fantastic position. Looking a couple minutes ago, we saw that Monster was up in supply, but that's not really what matters because Jaedong is leagues ahead in tech.
Let's go ahead and check out the drone count, see if he's ahead in that regard as well. 47 to 43, so
A little behind.
A little bit on the behind side. He threw down a lot of spine cars. Actually, what was that? 7 total. So that's 7 drones kind of tossed away at the moment, but he held that push and he has a tech.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to clean up a lot of Overlords here. As they're very, very slow units. Monster's only now just starting to send them home. It's going to be quite a bit of time. Zerglings do head over. Ooh, and he manages to scout the Overlord at the top right. We'll see if he decides to send his Mutalisks up there after cleaning up one, or he'll probably only get one more Mutalisk down here.
Yeah, Jaedong won't be able to
that
do
one
too
too.
much damage in the main and the natural. Spore cards are on the way. Infestation Pit is on the way for Monster as well. So he may be able to get a couple of pokes in, but I don't see him doing too much damage as the Mutas are actually flying into the natural at the moment. 3 Queens will be able to retreat that, or force them to retreat. Kills off an Overlord, that's always nice. But yeah, just hunt any more that you can find. Supply blocking Monster actually at the moment.
This is so awesome out of Jaedong. He's running around the map right now with these Zerglings, actually morphing a couple Banelings as well. But not only is this cleaning up any Zerglings that may be sitting around the map, such as locations like this or this, but at the same time, he's also managing to get a glimpse of where the Overlords are for Monster. So these Mutas, once they're done, doing their handiwork out on the field, they will be able to go and clean up Overlords that Jaedong knows are on the map, such as here in the top right. But for now, he wants to keep capitalizing on any damage he can get in the main because this has a very limited time window, as Infestors are on the way here in just a second.
That's a clever spotting there from Monster, actually. The Overlord sitting above that natural ramp. It makes it easy for the Queens to get back to their injects if they need to, but defend at the same time. Even putting a Spore Card underneath them, so I like that choice, actually. And he also, with that, was able to put down Creep to make sure the Queens can move back and forth against these Mutas. So, nice defensive play from Monster.
He doesn't know exactly where the Overlord is because it could have moved, so he fans out 3 Mutalisks to go scout for it. I mean, Jaedong is so impressive when it comes to small, minute details, and creep spread. Can't forget about
and
that.
creep spread, that is true. Unfortunately lacking a little bit in this matchup, but in ZvZ you don't really want to overextend your creep way too much, because if you get into a situation where you attack, suddenly you have more units in your base because of your creep spread. It's actually kind of a self-inflicting wound when you go to the mid-late game. But Jaedong, again, just keeping up with these mutas, moved into his third. It has been established, and he actually has leaned down the bottom left corner of the third of Monster. So Monster can't really expand. He's going to have to go for some kind of all-in, and he's making a Nidus right now, actually.
Well, this is a pretty cool all-in. We'll see. Jaedong has vision of everything, though. Absolutely everything. Nidus Worm does go down, however, in a location that is outside the base. This is going to make it that the units aren't being shot the entire way. It'll also allow the Queens to get into a great position here. And will Monster be able to make this work? Remember, there are still a ton of Spine Crawlers. Infestor spawning, but very nice target fire out of Monster is going to send 2 of them down before they can really get off any sort of a good fungal. But already we're seeing tons of the roaches have been picked off.
Oh, the Queens get stuck dealing with Overlords. He put them on an attack move, so they weren't able to hop up to that natural and start helping out. Now he finally joins in, but again, he lost a lot of roaches. Third is in trouble, though, from Jaedong. He needs to be a little bit more careful in terms of using those mutas in a situation where he can help out, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and sack his third and just wait for the all and come to his natural.
He is going to be able to kill this third base, and if he takes out these back rocks, Jaedong's throwing down a couple extra Spine Crawlers right now, but this is really cool out of Monster. Now, Jaedong does have some lings on the field. Will he opt to go for... Oh, he's going to go for the Nidus Worm and cut off the reinforcements. There are 4 roaches in there, and they will now be trapped back at home. Mutalisks are being active on the map, seeing what he can manage to pick off, but the attack is imminent in Jaedong's natural.
Such a nice usage of the Nidus, though. He prevented Jaedong from able to start picking on roaches as they were moving across the middle of the map with extra DPS. Again, he circumvents all that. And the Queens as well coming, too. Just very clever play.
Here's what I'm actually... Monster is being so helped right now by Jaedong's creep spread. It actually is definitely hurting Jaedong right now, but we do have a couple of roaches being taking some damage right now from the Mutalisks as Monster's trying to secure that third base, but he has halted Jaedong's third.
What an interesting game. That play was really big for Monster. I'm actually really impressed. Just the whole Nidus network play into that third. Just Jaedong wasn't expecting it. It was such a surprise, and again, a surprise to me as well. Nicely done by Monster. That third does go down, though.
Oh, but he gets the Mutalisks, and if he has enough, and he does have enough to chain fungal, and these Mutalisks are going to go down 500 gas, 500 minerals lost in exchange for the third base. A difficult trade to call, and a creep tumor is blocking the third base for Jaedong. Monster is doing such a good job right now, battling his way back into this game. I mean, Robin, I know
I'm
you definitely had him called out. I was even rooting for Monster in this situation because I feel like he's a little bit of the underdog, but I was counting him out, man, and suddenly he's back in this.
Yeah, really well played out here. Can Jaedong hold on? He went ahead and moved to the bottom right to expand. Finally gets that creep tumor killed off in the top right corner, so he will get his own third up. Needs to be careful of this roach army, though, from Monster. It's actually pretty strong. A +2 is on the way, and he's moving into Hydras, so gonna have a nice amount of DPS, a really tanky front as well. Ooh, nice little side attack, though, here for Jaedong, and Monster is forced to retreat.
He is, and that was definitely an opportunity that Monster may have wanted to take advantage of. His Infestor count. I mean, let's actually take a look at this army supply right now. 8-9, small Infestor lead, 24-8 for these guys. Third will be thwarted off. It was actually very low on hit points.
Well, the mutas actually just popped to the left, and they can come in once again and maybe get that hatchery. He needs to be a little bit on the careful side. Potentially a fungal has been left here from Monster, but Monster does retreat to the middle of the map. A fungal has landed on a group of roaches. A nice concave here for Jaedong. He's getting free damage, and finally the rest of the army does pop in, but Jaedong looks like he's just going to crush this.
Oh, it does look like Jaedong actually may be able to even take the game right here. Moving forward with these roaches, Stutter stepping beautifully. Fungal growths are not available, and a huge fungal is going to trap every single Infestor and Monster. Looking like he's going to fall now to the superior roach count of Jaedong. Beautifully played game here out of Jaedong. Monster doing what he can to battle back, but ultimately, I don't know that it was enough.
Jaedong just walking forward. 650 supply to 100 here, looking like it's game over. Although a lot of these roaches are pretty weak, but with the Infested Terrans popping down as well for Jaedong.
GG.
Monster.